Welcome back, Inklings. I hope this is a bit of a better nickname than last time. So it is still July 3rd. I took a short break just to kind of get some stuff done, but I am back to continue to work on this piece with you guys. As I mentioned, I'm recording these all in one big sum, and they'll go up every week. So last time we discussed a number of different things, including reference. We talked about how to go about creating interesting shapes. We also talked about perspective lines, some techniques in measuring, and kind of how to just build your general structures. We're going to be starting off by finishing up our bridge. Then we will be cleaning the rest of these two objects up. And then I'll show you some techniques to make the background look a little bit more interesting. By the end of this one, we should have some nice stuff started, and we'll be able to move to the next stage, which is making sure things are absolutely perfectly refined, the line work is all in order, and things like that. For this part, the focus is mostly just on technicalities and making sure things work properly. As we discussed, there is a playlist for this one as well. I changed my playlist while we were on break. You'll find that in the link description below. There won't be any reference videos this time, but I will include some information on how to do structural drawings down below as well. I'm not going to talk too much this time. I'll just interject when I can. I'm going to try to shorten the format, so this one is maybe 20 minutes long. I think the last one was around 100 or about an hour 50 or so. I'm not sure. But I want to keep this around 20 minutes, so we'll see if I can do that this time around. That being said, I actually have a timer going this time, but I will be speeding up my footage when I am quiet. Hopefully you'll like this format better. Let me know, and we'll see which of the two you prefer. I will maybe have some copyright-free music in the background if you just want to vibe out to that. But we will see. With that, we're going to start by finishing off this bridge that we didn't finish last time. What we want to do today is make sure that we have things evenly spaced and properly spaced on the other side. Just going to figure out where that house is because it's blocking me. Once we get this done, we'll talk about line weight and some stuff we can add to the foreground. I'm going to put myself on mute and we'll speed paint through the building of this. Same rules as before. We'll have some perspective going on in the corner over here and over here, and you'll see me use the pen tool to try to achieve that. Alright, let me know if you prefer this format, and here we go. Alright, you've been seeing me do this for a little while. Um, Basically what I'm doing right now, if you're wondering, is I'm just fleshing out details. I think I might go over one more perspective round separately from this, so we'll do that in a moment. But I want to get all the shapes that I'm interested in having kind of down more firm. What we'll focus on in a minute, once I'm done drawing the base of everything, is we'll talk about line weighting this circle, making sure this is in perspective, and just kind of ironing out any nooks and crannies of the drawing. That should pretty much do it for this short update. As you can see, it's starting to come out pretty good. We've been doing this for maybe 20 minutes. Hopefully it's not making you too nauseous to watch me do this. So I'll keep you updated and we'll keep going. Thanks for sticking with me so far. So as you can see, we've now cleared up the majority of the issues with the bridge. What we'll be doing next with the bridge is we'll be going in and just making sure that these are properly made, all these little cylinders. That's my big goal as far as the next step for this. I am currently just laying out this lovely tree, hoping to get it working properly. We'll see how it goes, but it's starting to come out pretty well by comparison of the sketch that was underneath. And that's kind of what you want to do, is just slowly build things up more and more. As you can see, it's already kind of taking shape. I might add like another lamp over here, but I think that might make it too cluttered. So what we're going to do is we're going to finish off the tree. We'll get to some of this backdrop, and then I'll talk to you guys about how to approach a line weight. What we're doing to create all of this sort of really nice geometry is we're going in and we're just creating boxes based on the perspective lines and varying them up a little bit. Then we're rounding them out to give them a more organic shape. So that'll be what we're doing for the next bit of this speed paint, is I'm just going to go in, fix up this tree, and we'll jump back in from there to talk about how to approach the hills in the background. I'll show you guys some more techniques for dealing with, what do we call it? For dealing with these stepping stones in the background. And after that, we'll just talk about a little bit about line weight, and hopefully this video will be less than 20 minutes, I'm hoping. With that, I am going to get back to it. Alright, we finished the hut. As you can see when I backtrack everything off, that it is looking kind of like a small hut. It's not very detailed yet. We're going to get to that a little bit later on. But for now, it'll kind of do its job. It looks like it's supposed to. So what we're going to do now is we're going to kind of box in the hill. I'll go back and add some details to the bridge in a minute. and we'll work from there. As you can see, we're making quite good progress. I just got to find the right, there we go. We are making some solid progress. So what we're going to do for the hill, because hills are kind of asymmetrical, not necessarily going to follow vanishing points, we're just going to pick a spot and gently pull it down, approximating one of the vanishing points, and kind of having the edge be the only thing that's actually lined up with it. And even then, only one of the edges. In this particular case, it just brings a little bit more life to this drawing, which is a vast majority just this bridge, some trees, and some other stuff. It's not a very detailed drawing at this point, but I'm quite enjoying it. In terms of how to get things to look even more kind of blocky, I'm going to add some swirls up here to add some more trees. I'm not going to do too much work on the trees. We will touch on that in a bit in terms of how to make trees look a little bit nicer. But we're just going to gently block them in. Because it's on a hill, it doesn't have to be straight up. I'm doing a mix. Because again, this building here is my focal point. But I also want it to be very clear that this isn't the only thing that's close. So we're going to gently block in a tree that's up here. Using our circle sections, I guess you could call it. Using the branches to kind of indicate the direction we want the audience to look. And because we've indicated that this is on some kind of surface that's a little more even, we'll just make a little line along the edges to indicate that this is a somewhat flat surface compared to the rest of the hill. Now, depending on how your slopes are, you can always adjust this accordingly. This is, again, we're still somewhat early into the stages. Normally, if I'm doing this without talking, it might take me probably 3 to 5 hours to get a scene completely finished to the satisfaction of a client. See how lively that looks? We're going to make this a slight cliff. Give this hill some form of extra shape to it. Because if it's just a round hill, it's nice and boring, but it's not necessarily appealing. We want to really make this thing look organic. There we go. That'll work. So we have the structure. Everything is starting to look nice and good. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start cleaning up the line work. We'll come down to do these in a moment as well. I make sure they're all properly done. But I'm going to save that for a separate layer, just so it looks a little bit more easy to follow like a proper tutorial. When we talk about line weight, because we're not quite there yet, what we're talking about is the thinness to the thickness. I always draw thicker things towards the front or focus of a drawing, and thinner lines towards the back or towards things that are less important. So we'll see that a little bit as well. So with that, I am going to quickly kind of neaten up these lines, and we'll go in and talk about line thickness kind of just to get an overview.